So January 14 of 2015, she was setting up something called aerial silks, and there was an equipment malfunction, and she fell 23 feet, so she had a traumatic brain injury. She was in ICU for a month, and then inpatient for 7 or 8 months, and then since then she's been doing outpatient. Thank you. So she's been doing outpatient since she got discharged then. So we've been doing 3 days a week now, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And the biggest area of damage was communication and speech. So it took her 18 months to start talking. And the right side of her body was immobile for a long time. So that took a long time to come back. And then as far as the ICARE goes, she started out on the local mat and then transitioned to the ICARE, and she's been doing this for months now. And she started out with assist, needing 2 or sometimes 3 people around her to make sure she was, not going to fall either way because her balance wasn't as good. And now she's to the point where she just needs 1 person on either side just for safety awareness, because she'll fidget and these handles move, and so she'll want to go down and get an itch and maybe hit her head. So we like to have someone on either side while she's on it. And just a week or 2 ago, we started increasing the resistance, so she doesn't get any help now. She has to push through it. So.
Good for you. So you really used it. You've used it from the assisted mode all the way through,
all the way through,
overriding to using it as a traditional elliptical.
Yeah.
Great work. Way to go. Way to go. It sounds as though you didn't wear the harness though. So
no.
Some people wear the harness so they don't need to
right.
for safety.
Yeah, she really fought us in the harness on the local mat, and she still does, because she does local mat once a week still. She just doesn't like all the straps and things on her, so we decided instead of having her fight with it, we'll just try and make sure there's enough people around to keep her safe, and it worked. And starting out, it made me personally a little nervous just because of the balance, but she did great, and eventually.
Older or younger sister?
I'm 16 months younger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to school at the time of the accident, and then after the accident, I've taken a break, and I've just been helping her full time. So,
What great family support is awesome, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, looks like you guys are. That's great.
Yeah, and I love this machine for her just because, her balance on land and safety awareness isn't all there, so we can't really get her cardio up, and this is the one thing that can really get her cardio up. So we like doing at least 2 or 3 times a week so that she can get a good exercise. But of all the machines, this helps her get the exercise the most.
So that was, again, that one big underlying goal we had was being able to create a piece of technology where you could work on both the walking and the cardiovascular at the same time. So a person doesn't have to go do their walking therapy in one location and work on cardiovascular, then after that, bringing them together. That was a big goal with this. And so it sounds like that's something you guys appreciate.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Good. So what's your goal on training over the next couple of weeks on this? What would you like to see yourself be able to do?
Do you want to get in shape?
And a tape.
Yep.
Get in shape.
And her passion is gymnastics, and Union College does a home show every year, and so right now her goal is to get in better shape for home show next year, but she actually did a little performance with her sister this year, and it's just huge motivation for her to get back on the mats. So.
My neighbors, Tom and Linda, were at Union College. They were faculty at Union College. Yes.
Very cool.
Are you a Union College?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. I used to live across the street from Union College.
Yeah.
So we could have passed each other at some point.
Well, that's where we live now. We actually moved into the place she was renting at the time of the accident. So we're actually from California, but our family is pretty much temporarily-ish relocated here, but we're here most of the time. We go home once in a while.
Because I was in California before I moved out here, so it's a small world here.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Well, can we see you get up and maybe train together?
Yeah. Would you want to do a little bit?
Yeah.
What can I do to?
Maybe if I just have. I think she'll be okay. Just stay there, just in case she bends over on that side.
Yeah.
Hey.
All right. So Heather, can you put your hands up here? You want to get started first? All right, let's see. So they've been gradually increasing her stride length to give her a little more length. She has had a problem with her right knee hyperextending. She used to wear a knee cage. We rarely wear that now, sometimes on the stairs, but it's gotten to the point where it doesn't snap as much. So right now it looks pretty good.
It does look, I agree, it's
yeah.
not snapping. Way to go. That's great.
Go.
I know the other day when I was down here, you were also working on trying to get her to reach up and use these hands.
Yep. So Heather, can you put your hands up here? You look better with your hands up.
What?
It looks better when you put your hands up. You get a better workout. Can you put your hands up here? How about when it gets to 1 minute?
There.
She's a numbers
right.
person. She do it on the dot. She'll
All
usually
right.
do it.
Way to go.
Let me
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, so she's come a very long ways on
That
this.
sounds like
You have.
There.
you.
Yeah.
And so, do you ever do setup on the are you ever responsible for setup on the Locomat?
No, a local
Okay.
mat in there because she'll sometimes try and adjust the straps with her left hand, so I'll be there to make sure she doesn't fidget with that. But as far as the setup, that's the therapist and the aide. Yeah.
Okay. And so that's a big difference between the ICARE and the Locomat at this stage is the Locomat, you really need the therapist to have to direct the setup with it, whereas the ICARE, oftentimes what we're working towards is training family to be able to do that setup, or training the individual to be able to do that setup on their own so that they can be working on building their skill. The therapist may still kind of set the groundwork for how to continue to improve, but the person can do their own setup and be more independent. So as they were sharing, they go over to Proactive to actually train our medical fitness environment. They go over there and train on their own when there are no therapists around. And so that's a kind of a big difference between the Locomat and some of the exoskeleton legs and the ICARE, is that capacity to really train the family, train a caregiver to be able to do the setup and then create more independence for the patient.
Yeah, for a few months she's been doing this twice a week with her therapist, but the therapist still has been doing some adjustments, so she doesn't want to get rid of it completely. But because we can do it on our own, this week is the first week we're doing it once a week with a therapist, and then my
Awesome.
mom and I will take her once or twice to Proactive.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What questions do you have for her? For them?
She's very bubbly.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
is always happy, and she was like that before.
Great
Yeah.
demeanor.
Yeah.
She's been that way from the first day that I saw her.
That's great.
Yeah, she's always had a smile.
There. There.
Do you like working out?
There. There.
Yeah.
That's it probably as a gymnast, your bubbliness
Yeah.
as well. I would have to think. Yep.
Let me pull up a picture of what she did before so you can see her.
We do have a question here.
Yes.
She's asking me why on one side she's supporting more the ankles and the other side not.
So because the left side of her brain got the most damage, the right side was very immobile. This right arm is now starting to really become more functional, and the right leg took a long time too. But she has toning on her right side and not as much on her left. She wears an orthotic brace. She used to wear an orthotic brace on both ankles, now just on the right, just because the left is so good. But her toes will point and she'll turn her foot in on the right, and so because of that, as she gets more fatigued or a little bit more tired on here, that ankle will eventually start to turn. And it's looking really good today. She actually got Botox a week ago, and I feel like it's really starting to help right now. So, yeah.
And those straps that you see around her ankle on that side, you can put a little tension on them to help control that ankle posture.
Sound like a right number.
25 is oftentimes a place where we'll start with people as they first get on, and 25 can feel pretty challenging when you're coming back from a major injury. And then 40 is often that kind of transition point where we also start to integrate in more of the overriding the motor. And so then the overriding, you're either overriding or you aren't, but you can override it by more revolutions. So you can kind of push yourself to go at a faster speed with it. So it sounds like you are going strong. You've gone all the way through those phases, and now you're on to the resisted.
Oh yeah, she does it all the time.
I saw you.
Yeah, she doesn't like us hanging on.
Rachel, when she first started riding the motor, did they set kind of a number in there that they wanted her to override by, like on the revolutions, or did you get the number to turn her in?
Not that I remember. I do know that they liked her getting into the green and told her about it, but I don't remember if there was a certain goal of a certain number. Yeah, I'm not sure.
And you may have said this, how long does she now train on it?
About 30 minutes.
And I missed it right away. Did you start with a harness on Wing or?
We didn't, just because of with her specifically, she was so fidgety and adjusting with it that we didn't want that to throw her off balance. So we just had a therapist and an aide on either side, and then my mom or I watching her hands up here. So, yeah.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.